Welcome to Super Easy History. In this installment we'll be covering 5 cool facts about a man who laid the foundations for the modern countries of France and Germany. A man who was a pious Christian, a patron of the arts, and a brutal conqueror. The king of the Franks and the first Holy Roman Emperor, Charlemagne, the father of Europe. So let's get right into fact number 1. First, Charlemagne wasn't always royalty. When he was born in 742 AD, his father, Pepin the Short, was mayor of the palace of the king of the Franks, Childeric III. Pepin certainly wasn't a nobody though, as at this point in Frankish history, the king actually held very little power. Instead, the mayor of the palace, who, remember, was Charlemagne's father, made most decisions of state. Charlemagne didn't become a prince until 751 AD, when Pepin, with the Pope's support, overthrew King Childeric and took over his kingdom. Pepin then ruled over the Franks for 17 years until he died in 768 AD. Which takes us to fact number 2. Charlemagne wasn't the only heir to Pepin's throne. He had a brother named Charlemagne. When King Pepin died, the kingdom of the Franks was split between the two brothers. Charlemagne received the west and north, while Charlemagne ruled the east and south. Neither of the brothers were particularly happy with this arrangement though, and each sought to overthrow the other, so Charlemagne made an alliance with the king of the Lombards in Italy, and it is likely that he and Charlemagne would have gone to war over control of the Franks if not for Charlemagne's untimely and suspicious death in the year 771. Which moves us on to fact number 3 about Charlemagne. He wasn't just the king of the Franks. 2 years after Charlemagne's death, Charlemagne received the blessing of the Pope to invade his late brother's ally, Lombardy. It only took Charlemagne about a year to defeat the Lombards and send their royal family into exile. With their king out of the way, Charlemagne began to style himself as King of the Franks and Lombards. But it should be noted that he didn't annex Lombardy fully into the kingdom of the Franks. Instead, Charlemagne allowed the Lombards to maintain many of their own traditions, culture, and laws, provided that they accepted him as their king. Charlemagne gave the crown of Lombardy to his third son a few years after its conquest. But Charlemagne wasn't always quite that nice to the peoples he conquered, which brings us quite nicely to fact number 4. Between 772 and 804 AD, Charlemagne fought a series of wars in northern Germany against a people called the Saxons. He showed no mercy to the Saxon people, who were Germanic pagans. He ordered the destruction of pagan holy sites and demanded that all of his new subjects convert to Christianity or face the penalty of death. The Saxon people revolted many times against Charlemagne, but ultimately his armies were too numerous for them to resist, and they were forced to submit to the will of the Frankish king. Fact number 5. Charlemagne was the first Holy Roman Emperor. Sort of. Before we explain that, if you've enjoyed this video so far, you'll probably like some of the other stuff on the channel, so don't forget to subscribe and get the notification bell on. Also, if you want to stay up to date with our content and learn an interesting bit of history every single day, you should follow us on Twitter at SuperEasyHistory. On Christmas Day, 800 AD, Pope Leo III crowned Charlemagne Emperor of Rome, the first Westerner to hold that title since the fall of the empire over 300 years previously. But he wasn't the only person to claim the title. In the East, the Byzantine Empire claimed direct descent from the old Roman Empire, and they saw the Pope's coronation of Charlemagne as an attempt to usurp land and prestige that rightfully belonged to their Empress Irene. Charlemagne's empire was also very different from the hundreds of tiny German states that called themselves the Holy Roman Empire during the Middle Ages and the early modern period. Unlike that Holy Roman Empire, Charlemagne's empire, which by the time of his death had grown to include Brittany, lands in Spain, and more of Eastern Europe, collapsed only a few years later, but the Holy Roman Empire lasted all the way until the 19th century. As a result, most modern historians consider the title of Holy Roman Emperor and the state known as the Holy Roman Empire to be separate from each other. Charlemagne was a Holy Roman Emperor, as he was crowned as such by the Pope, but in spite of his title, the Holy Roman Empire itself didn't begin until over a century after his death. And those were 5 fun facts about Charlemagne. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to go down below and hit the like button, or check out one of our other videos by clicking on a thumbnail to the left. Thanks for watching Super Easy History.